Beep. Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Chop Talk. I am your co-host, Andre C. Right over here, it's the dope-ass princess herself. It's Melball. How you doing, Melball?
I'm tired. I'm tired, my friend. It was a late night last night. Not terribly late. The show wrapped up at a decent enough time, I think.
I got home by
But I was
midnight.
I was distracted until like 3 frickin' in the morning. My phone just biddling off the frickin' don't you wag your finger at me. I deserve this attention. I'm tired though. Holy
Are you?
man, my allergies are booting my booty. How are you doing today?
Good. Just got a good workout in this morning with Rich King, just jacked and shit, and yeah, it's good.
Yes. Yes, we were talking yesterday how like your clothes are fitting different, looking different in person now.
Yeah, I got a few people
Good thing.
mentioning that yesterday that hadn't seen me in a while, so yeah,
Mhm,
it was nice to
mhm.
hear.
It's always nice to hear the nice compliments, right?
It very much is. And I was talking with Barricade too at the show we were at, and he has dropped a significant amount of weight too.
He
And
has, yeah.
he's gotten his singlet taken in too. Very
Mhm,
noticeable that it's fitting him tighter now, but not in a bad. Not now that he put the weight back on, but he's had his singlet taken in, so it's fitting him better because
mhm.
it was getting very loose there for him for a while.
Very, very loose. We were concerned about a wardrobe malfunction. Um, Also his boots, like the boots are a really good indicator too. I mean, that he can only really lace them halfway up.
Mm-hmm.
So too loose otherwise. That's really cool. It's really cool
Yeah.
to watch people go on these journeys.
Oh heck yeah! I think I'll even say Steven Styles looking a little trimmer. Um, Still the Team Steve still sucks, but
I was gonna say that's
um,
probably the only nice thing we're gonna say about a Steve on this show.
well, and Styles has some nice suplexes, but that's about it.
Yeah.
We'll get into that match because we're going to talk some RCW 21st anniversary tour featuring
Uh,
Lio Rush, baby. Yes.
yes.
Um, So we're gonna get into that. Before we do that, I want to thank
Mhm.
each and every one of you guys for joining us here on whether it's on Backbreaker video, whether it's on Backbreaker video, whether it's on Andre Melball Talk. Thank you so much for joining us here. We appreciate that. Don't forget to like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below. Don't forget to share us out to your friends, family, and crazy little people with those dark black hearts so that they can follow us here too. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you can be alerted every time we drop a new video.
Ding dong.
Ding dong. Oh, and don't forget to share us to tell all the bad childs out there. So
The bad childs, yes, the bad influences. Yes.
we're gonna get into it. I've only got one graphic and one video for this show because I just didn't have the time to make a bunch of graphics, and then RCW doesn't put out graphics for all the matches because I don't know if they even know all the matches before they write the card on the day of the show.
I was gonna say indie wrestling, right? I mean, it's happened more than once in a bunch of shows here
Mm,
where the card has changed, whether it's be travel or whatever. It happens. At least we got Leo though.
we
It's
got
great.
Leo three days of Lio Rush here in Alberta.
Yes.
Wrestled Strathmore against Mo Japari on Friday. He
Hmm.
wrestled Calgary against Dalton Brogue on the Saturday,
Hmm.
and then on Sunday, May 19th, he was in Edmonton to face Harlon AEW super jobber Harlon Abbott. Well, he's a super enhancement talent, is what he is. That's
Just caught me off
what he
guard.
is. He got his ass. I love me some
Caught me
Harlon
off
Abbott. Don't get me
guard.
wrong, but he was used as an enhancement talent on that show.
I know, just the way you said it, it caught me off guard.
I'll say this: Harlan Abbott is the most over enhancement talent I've seen on a show in a long time because I watched back the actual Dynamite and you could audibly hear the cheers for Harlon Abbott through the show.
Mhm.
Some coming from our set where we were sitting, as me and a bunch of others were cheering while you were booing for him.
Mhm.
But yeah,
I
you
wasn't
got
booing.
you were going, boo, Harlan sucks. I heard you.
I was saying Harlan sucks. I wasn't saying boo. Get it right, my guy.
Okay, whatever. Same thing. You're not being positive. We're gonna
Arguably not, because my interaction is interaction. That's what you said.
We're gonna get into it. I'm gonna bring us back up to be the big faces of the vid all. We're gonna talk
Mhm.
about some RCW 21st and first show, the Sunday show here in Edmonton, Alberta, Canada. So it kicked off with a
Yes.
British Commonwealth four-way match.
Mhm.
Shaun Martens versus Tony Machete versus Bobby Sharp. My words.
You did the Cardi B. I love it.
What did I do? What?
Machete.
Machete. No, I'm doing dude from the movie Machete. He's Machete, Tony Machete.
You're trying the Danny Trejo, and it's adorable, but you sound like Cardi
Yeah.
B.
Tony Machete, um, Bobby Sharp,
Bobby
and
Sharp.
the current British Commonwealth champion Kamikaze. I think all my notes involve Kamikaze doing something. Kamikaze. I only got like 4 notes for this match. I kind of forgot to start taking notes until partway through this thing. So,
Well, it did
Kamikaze.
take a little while to get into because Shaun Martens was seemingly taking his sweet ass time getting out.
Yeah. Kamikaze hitting a plancha to Martens on one side as Bobby Sharp hits a wrecking ball dropkick to Tony Machete on the other side. Cam with the front doing the front flips into a monkey flip onto Martens out of the corner, gets a 2 count. Cam gets this huge moonsault out of the corner off the top to all other three members of the match in the ring. Looked really good.
Mhm.
End of the match comes up. Bobby spears Martens. Cam hits a sunset flip to Bobby, who is in turn hits a bridging German to Machete. But Kamikaze is awarded the pin as he is the top pinner in this. He is awarded the pin on Bobby Sharp and retains the British Commonwealth Championship.
Mhm, mhm. I was very excited. I didn't know Machete was gonna be on this show. He's a favorite of mine. Um, I didn't get to see some of my favorite moves by him, though, and it made me really sad because he has a really amazing dragon screw. Didn't get to see it.
His sling blade's pretty awesome.
His sling blade is amazing, but we'll talk about the sling blade later because someone else did some amazing sling blades. Um, yeah. The only other thing that I recall in this, again, a machete thing, there was one point where he was like choking someone in the corner with his foot. Like, he was
Mm.
like, he totally Val Venus'd me, and I was really scared for a second. Do you remember how like Val Venus in no matter where you were, when he was in the building, you could hear that of him hissing and breathing? Do you remember that?
No.
There's something I always noticed, like, back in the day at house shows and stuff, is no matter how far up in the nosebleeds you were, you could hear 2 things guaranteed: Val Venus hissing and Melina screaming. It's
Yeah,
just perfect.
I was never going to a lot. I didn't my first show was in '04, and I think he was Chief Morley at that point. I don't know. I don't
Oh,
remember
I have
him
no idea.
hissing.
Anyway, it was like a breathing thing, but, like, Machete was doing the same thing, and I was kinda like, "Ah, what kind of noise is that?" It was funny, though. But yeah, I actually really enjoyed this match. Kamikaze is one that's kind of just started coming back on my radar. I know you know
Hmm.
him from back in the day. I wasn't a fan back in the day.
Hmm.
So this kinda last couple of months has kind of been an introduction to me for him. It's nice to see him being awarded for the hard work that he's been doing, not
Hmm.
just across RCW, but he's been working with CWE. Um, I think he popped up in BEW as well. So yeah, I'm enjoying seeing the reward. He beat Tommy for that title, didn't he? No?
Yes, he did a couple days. Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Cool. Congratulations.
Yeah, sure.
Mm. Hi, how are you?
Hi, how are you? Hi, how are you?
Sir.
I'm still waking up, okay? Even though I literally drove to the city,
I was gonna say
worked
you
out, came
worked
home.
out with Rich. There's no way you're just waking up
No,
now.
I took a nap when I got home.
Jesus, Murphy George.
I napped for half an hour before I set up the room to make this stream. I'm tired.
Let's take it into the second match.
Oh, we have another match to talk about.
Jesus Christ.
We got Quin Hawksley versus Kat Von Heez. Okay, and this is news. This is breaking news on the from last night. According to Andreas, Quin Hawksley looked like a tiny version of The Rock. You're the one
I'm sorry. What?
You're the one that reiterated this to me, and I'm like, what? And he confirmed it.
I don't recall reiterating that to you.
It's what he said to you, and then I was like, what did he say? And you told me, and I'm like, what did you fucking say, Andres? And he said it again.
Yeah.
Tiny version of The Rock, and I was so confused by that.
I mean, if that means she's a tiny ball of charisma, then frick yeah, because she came in with fire in this match.
I don't know. I was so confused.
Just send him on a side quest. He'll be fine.
He needs a lot of side quests, even to get to level 2, man. He needs a lot of side quests just to get to level 2.
Yeah. Please, Andreas, when you do level up, please allocate your skill points into intelligence.
Quin gets Kat in the rope. She hits the upkick in the ropes, and then it's a code breaker out of the ropes. Looked really good.
Yes.
Kat ends up dropping, just like picking her up and just slamming Quin down on her tailbone. And then she gets a straight jacket choke right in the center of the ring, but Quin does eventually get out of it.
Mm-hmm.
Beautiful wrist clutch lariat, followed by the sliding lariat by Quin for 2. And you missed it because you were looking down at your phone. And I laughed at you because you're like, no, I missed it.
It was what I was waiting to see.
Yeah. Kat gets a big old lariat and then follows up with the 3 amigos, bridging on the third. But she only gets 2. Kat hits a sick pile driver. I thought it was over, but Quin kicks out of 2. Quin gets a stunner. Kat sitting on the top rope. Quin comes and attacks her, but Kat punches her in the face, and Sunset flips over her. But Quin sits down on her, wraps the legs up, and gets the 1, the 2, and the 3 for the victory. I thought really good match. I love seeing the improvements in Quin Hawksley every time she's out there. And again, you and me were talking about this on the way home. I don't think there's anybody better than Kat Von Heez for her to get better to really truly. Yeah.
Yeah, 100%. Kat Von Heez was a veteran in there, kind of making sure everything went according to plan. And there was a few times where we saw her correct things just kind of mid-move or mid kind of happening and redirected in a different direction to help everything make sense. I really liked how real and organic this match was. And the women's matches coming out of RCW have been really, really good. I mean, I saw I just lost my train of thought. Ava and Quin in their match, I believe it was in March. Again, another really, really great showcase for Quin, and it's showing how she's progressed from that match to this match with Kat. She earned that win. I'm so proud of her to get that win too. But yeah, I don't know if I want to get into it right now. It just disappoints me to see that women's championship was not on one of these women. That being said, I feel that Quin she's getting there. Every show we see her, she's getting there. And I think with the progress she's making consistently, maybe in like the fall, like September, October, she'll be ready to legitimately challenge for a title.
Yeah.
But right now, where's that women's title?
On Steve Rivers.
On don't say it, Melball. On an old man.
Yeah, he is very much an old man. My buddy Adam Blank, who's 40 years old, turning 41 this year, trained under Steve Rivers back in like 2001, 2002 with Bobby Sharp. So that man is, and that guy was
Yeah.
old. That guy was old, much older than them then. So that man is an old man, and he has the women's title. I don't like it. Just stop with this guys winning women's championships thing. It's stupid. It's dumb. It doesn't need to happen. Like women winning a
Yeah.
heavyweight title is different because it's not the RCW men's heavyweight championship. It's just the RCW Canadian heavyweight championship, or Canadian championship, which Ava Lawless won on Saturday night in Calgary.
Congratulations to Ava.
And it's not called the men's title, so anybody can challenge for. Look at LPW. Zoe was their champion for a year, like, and again, nothing, and there's no issues. But Taryn's the tag team, one half of the tag champs in LPW. So, but a man holding the women's title, I don't like that. I never liked it. I know Dusty Adonis did it years ago in Stampede. I don't like that. I don't like any of it, and it's ever been done. I don't like. Just don't.
For me, the only one that was really acceptable, only for the time and size that it was Stephen Crow. Because at that time, he's bulked up since then, but at that time, and for the experience at the time that he had, because he wasn't as good then as he was now, obviously.
Oh, he's gotten so good.
He was a scrawny little gay guy who fit in with the size of that crowd. So when he was facing people like Kat Von Hees, Ava Lawless, Taryn from Accounting, Zoe Sager, it made sense. Like that to me was his size division. You know, Steve Rivers is a big freaking dude. You want to tell me that Riley Rose can get in there and try to kick his ass? Kat's having a hard time with that. And then I personally think that Kat and Ava are the dominant women in that division right now. So if the dominant women in that division are having a problem getting the wins on that, I don't like it. It is a weird situation. I don't know if it's like I've been struggling with this one because I'm like, is it okay that I'm mad about it?
Yeah.
Is it not inclusive of me to say that an old man should not be holding the women's title? I don't know. We have a new name for Team Steve. Steve of Torture. Yep. Steve of Torture.
Steve of Torture for sure. We're gonna move on. We get to a number one contendership match, a four-way tag number one contendership for the RCW International Tag Team titles, not that are held by Mitch. I think they're held by Mitch Clarke and Harlon Abbott. I think still hold them.
I don't know. There's a lot of titles on this company that I don't know.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
This was a glorious chaos match, though, in the best possible way.
Oh, 100%. It was a glory. Like, it was just everything was happening. And I was just like, what is, yeah, it's still, according to Cage Match, it's still Harlan. They haven't updated as of Sunday for a couple title changes that happened on, or 3 title changes that happened on this show. But, and actually, it still shows Kat Von Heez as a women's champion on here. But, yeah.
You can leave that.
Yeah, I'm okay with that. We just don't need to recognize. We don't even need to recognize the current champion. So yeah,
this is the match where I personally started losing my voice.
Oh, mine was the main event. I'm surprised I have that
the
voice
main event
today.
didn't help, but when the people started coming out for this match, I was like, "Oh my god, this is just a treat for me!"
Wee! I kept hearing that, and I'm like,
I was literally cheering for everybody who came in except for one.
I was cheering for some, but not for others. I was cheering for one half of KB Starr, which is KB6 and Christian Starr. I was cheering for both of the Barricades, Weston King and Barricade, with the awesome Gussy Jones.
Gussie!
And then I was also cheering for both of the Radz, T.Y. Jackson and Rich King. And then I was booing Jesse Youngblood and the Canadian Goose. Oh, sorry. There we go.
Dick.
I was booing the Goose because he was teaming with Jesse, and I don't like Jesse, so I booed the Goose. Yeah.
Poor Goose.
Everybody was brawling early. Starr and KB6 ended up doing it, drop kicking Barricade out of the ring, looked really good. There was an atomic drop by inverted atomic drop by TY into the atomic drop by Rich into the TY Bulldog to the Goose. Starr gets the Starr blades onto both members of the Radz and hits the Starr cutter out of the corner to TY Jackson.
Yes.
I'm being nice to you today. Starr and KB6 hit this beautiful delayed suplex to TY Jackson, just holding them up there for a good 10 seconds before crashing them down to the mat. Beautiful running high knee by Weston King to Starr for 2. Jesse with the running warrior style splash to Weston King at one point. Gussy distracts Jesse. King gets that full Nelson slam on him. Rich is in. He hits an Olympic slam. And TY comes off with a swanton to KB6. And Starr hits the top rope double drop kick to both members of the Radz. He hits Lopez to both Radz on either side of the floor, just pulling out his tributes to the one Lio Rush on this show. King ends up crotching Starr up on top, pulls him out, hits what looked like a goddamn muscle buster in the ring there. Goose ends up doing the Shingo Takagi fake out and hits the DDT to Weston King. I love that.
Yes, he does.
In the end, Barricade hits the how we want to call it, the winds have changed, the black hole slam, whatever you want to call it, to Goose, tags Weston King back in, and King hits the full Nelson slam to get the win, and the Barricades will be challenging for the RCW International Tag Team Championships.
Yes. What a fun match. We saw some personality coming out of a few people who I've been complaining that haven't been showing personality, which is one of both our favorites with Christian Starr. He's been kind of like holding off on us a little bit. We saw him laughing it up, having fun, hamming it up with the people in the ring. So it was a really nice change. A very, very fun organic match for me because they kept my attention on the ring and less on the outside stuff. And there was one point where the Radz hopped back in. I was like, oh yeah, the Radz are here. Kind of forgot about that because they were smart. They kept out of the way and let the people shine who needed to. I did see one point there was a video of the Radz tumbling around the outside of the ring. Did you see that?
No,
it was after them on the outside.
You need to send that to me.
I'm fairly certain it was our friend Vicky who got that video.
You got to send that to me.
I will send it to you. It was funny. We had an interesting conversation also about the Goose afterwards with this. How we thought it would be amazing for him to be a Darkwing Duck.
Yeah,
hero character.
So from to the Goose's Darkwing Duck, he needs to get his Nega Duck, his Nega Goose. I told him this after the show that he needs to find a Nega Goose, and he's like, I don't know if anybody would want to be the Nega Goose, and I'm like, somebody will do it. You're gonna be Nega Goose?
That wouldn't work.
So you're gonna be the cooler. You're gonna be the cooler version of the Goose, is what you're saying. Well, Well, Nega Duck was a cooler version of Darkwing Duck, so.
Color scheme was not the best, though, because remember, he was yellow.
I love the yellow.
Purple. I like purple.
No, he reminded me of like Dick Tracy with the yellow scheme.
That's fair. I mean, I'm pretty sure that's what Darkwing Duck was based on anyway.
And Nega Goose can be white, have like white gear, because Goose has red gear, so Nega Goose would have white gear. So yeah. See, we're building somebody a gimmick. We move on to the match. I'm sorry, I hated this next match. It was just awful.
Oh yeah.
And I have his sticker right here, Mr. Rick Jules. Even he wasn't good in this match. JJ did fine. It was Family Jules, JJ Spade, and Rick Jules defending their RCW tag team titles, not the international titles, just the regular tag team titles, against Team Steve. Steve not so wild, and Steve has no styles. This match
of torture.
I'm sorry, this match was boring. It was pretty much the exact match we watched like a month ago. Like no difference. That just the two of them cheating. beating up on JJ for 95% of the match. More cheating. Jules in the corner shaking like he's having a fit. And then we got outside interference by Danny Evans. Tombstoning Jules, and then Styles crotches JJ up top. Styles pulls him down into a suplex. Not Wild hit, or has no Styles hits a suplex, and Not So Wild hits a release dragon suplex, and they get the win. I really dislike this match, and then legitimately, I could not understand them in their promo after.
That's for the better.
But it literally was it was an old men incoherently rambling kind of promo is what it was. I couldn't understand either one of them.
I mean, again, that's probably for the better. I am not a fan of the Steves when they cut promos, because they have a tendency to cut fourth walls and bring personal shit into professional environment, what I don't appreciate and I don't like. Just leave that shit alone. You're arguing with somebody. Argue with that person about what had just happened. Don't sit there and bring personal shit in there. Anyway, yeah, I didn't like this match either. And I was mentioning it to you. It's a template for Team Steve now. They come in, they jumpstart, they alienate JJ Spade for like 3/4 of the match, leave Rick Jules having a freaking medical seizure on the apron there, or an aneurysm or something. Leave him there for the entire match, dispose of him in some weird way, they win. It's become repetitive. And I'm pretty sure they're more capable of them doing something like that. Like, it's just, I wasn't very impressed with this match either. It took a lot of my energy away, especially after what we had beforehand. It just really did kind of suck the life out of me.
Yeah, and I don't know. And again, they're all good professional wrestlers. I got nothing against their professional wrestling. I respect all of them for actually getting there and doing it. I couldn't do with what they do, but I just find it so boring. I just found this match just dull, and I barely wrote notes. I just wrote they keep cheating. Isolating JJ. They keep cheating. That's what I wrote. Like, it's all they were doing. I think there was a leg drop to JJ's balls at one point. I think,
Probably.
I don't know. No, that was in another match there. Oh yeah, Not So Wild hits a leg drop to the crotch of JJ Spade. Again, like, that was the biggest move I think out of them. I found this boring.
Yeah, I think it's become repetitive. It has become a template for them, like a copy paste. And it again, it is unfortunate because we have like talked so much about how Steven Styles has really, really great suplexes. But it's like getting to that point can be a little painful.
Yeah.
And now they're champions.
Yep.
Yay.
We're gonna move on.
Steves of Torture.
Yeah, save the torch. We're gonna move on. Hardcore championship match. RCW hardcore championship match. Mel was scared going into it, but what this could be. I was kind of like, if it was a lot of blood, it would have turned me off. But this ended up being probably one of the best hardcore matches I've ever watched. I think Colton cut his hand, and that was really the only blood. Because somebody said that he cut his hand, and that was really the only blood in this match, which was accidental. Sid just unloads on Colton to start with. Like, they're getting their face head to head, and they're like just like, it's the intensity. There's just a pure intensity because they're brother. They are real life brothers, and they're just like head to head, and they're just like, and then gets him and drops him in the corner, hits these kind of like leaping inverted like reverse cannonballs where he's not flipping over, he's jumping, like kicking his legs in the air and landing on him a couple times. It's a meteor in the corner. Sid hits Colton right with that barbed stick that he has, like the stick, like you said, just a stick wrapped in barbed wire. Then hits
Wasn't
him
it like a kendo stick that had been cut in half or something like that?
I don't know. It just looked like a stick
idea.
with barbed wire on it. And then he like whips a chair at Colton's head. Yeah, it's just crazy stuff. Colton cracks
Yeah.
Sid with this kendo stick in the stomach, then smacks him with the barbed wire stick. It was just they're cracking each other over the head with chairs. Sid hits this crazy tope suicida to the floor on the Colton. It just looked crazy. This is where
Mhm.
Sid makes this ladder table between two chairs. They go back in the ring, and then Colton whips a chair at Sid's head, knocking him silly. They get on the apron, and I'm gonna play this video for y'all because holy crap! Like this looked rough as
Yeah.
both men. Um, yeah, let's play this.
Footage courtesy of our friend Andreas. That was up. This kind of holy shit when it starts, man. But look at all those striped shirts in there doing what they need to do to check on the people.
Yeah, that was insane. And then if you watch that video, um, Sid's ankle goes bouncing off the back of one of those chairs on that suplex, and he's like clutching at it after. And I'm like, you're Andre, like, oh, like, just your Andreas reaction beside us. It was like, it was a holy shit moment, man. Oh my god. And the
Yeah,
crowd
yeah,
just
it was.
reacting
Jesus.
after it was insane. It was pure insanity, man. Yeah, they get back in. They keep going. Uh, uh, Colton slams Sid onto a pile of chairs and hits a moonsault off the top. There's a beautiful springboard head scissors by Sid. Sid puts a board across two chairs in the ring, puts Colton on it, hits a swanton off the top, but only gets two. Colton gets the X-Plex onto a barricade. Colton goes up to the top, but he starts attacking, Sid comes up attacking him. So Sid's standing, his back facing the ring. Colton's sitting on the top turnbuckle. Colton then grabs Sid, lifts him up, jumps out. Like he jumped and throws his body out while hitting a superplex to Colton, inverted. Like it's an inverted superplex, dropping him onto this barricade that they had in the corner, like propped in the corner. Like just the athleticism out of that move, just see Colton had to jump out and still drop this and hit that suplex. It looks so cool.
Mhm.
Yeah, he starts whipping him with a belt, and this is where he pile drove the crap out of him onto these chairs. Then he picks him up. Then he pulls his belt off, starts whipping him with a belt, then picks him up, traps the arms, lifts him up, and pile drives the shit out of him again. And this is where Colton Kelly gets the win.
Mhm.
Holy
Mhm.
crap, this was a good match.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Holy shit. They have been like this year, RCW in particular has been doing amazing with their hardcore matches because we like look at what we saw with Eddie Kingston and Gabe Kidd. That was a great match, but ugh, the bleeding within the first few minutes was just disgusting and it took away from the match for me.
Mhm.
This was such a great match in that we were paying attention to everything happening and it wasn't a level of grotesque. Like it was a really consistent, good match with weapons.
Mhm.
It was really, really great. Like, not to like again, Colton had cut his hand, so there was some blood, but it wasn't like Eddie Kingston bladed his head and we now have torrential Niagara Falls on his face kind of thing, you know? Like it was a very great match. As you mentioned, there is so much history here with the brothers kind of coming in and facing off. I'm curious to see what happens after this because after the match, there was some chaos, wasn't there?
Yeah, so Colton proceeds to start stomping on Sid some more. And this is where
Mhm.
JJ Spade runs up, but then Danny Evans comes out of nowhere and has this like massive amount of like orange chain and just whips him like super hard with it. It looked rough as
Mhm.
hell. Um, and then Colton pile drives JJ. Jules runs out, runs off Colton Kelly and Danny Evans. And then after the match, Danny challenges Jules to a no DQ. Loser leaves RCW match. Jules accepts, but decides, no, we're going to make it a casket match until Danny accepts that up the ante there. So, and then Jules decides, picks up a chair and just hits himself in the face. Like, I was like, what?
Eddie Kingston. He Eddie Kingston himself.
Yeah, with the garbage can there from the last. Oh,
hey, you know what? I mean, Kingston's out now with the broken leg. We need somebody to take up that mantle. It may as well be Jules.
Yeah. It was pure. This whole thing was pure insanity, and I loved it.
Yeah, it was some glorious, glorious chaos in a very fun and entertaining way, even though Colton Khan got hurt. And arguably so did Sid.
Yeah.
But yeah, this was a really, really great hardcore match. I really enjoyed these kind of matches because, like, for a long time, they were made into like hardcore matches here were just straight up death matches.
Mm.
Now we're seeing a nice separation into little sections and levels of it. And I love it. I really do love it. This was a great match.
Yeah,
And congratulations to Colton on winning. I love me, Sid, but man, it's been nice to see Colton back.
Yeah.
Yes.
So we move on.
Freaking slaps.
Yeah. almost as good as those Matt slaps, you know?
Yeah.
So,
I see what you did there.
Speaking of Matt slaps, he's a ref for the next match after we come back from intermission. RCW Heritage Champion, Alberta Heritage Championship. It's Cody Mac defending against Nasty Nate Nixon. The chops these guys were exchanging in this match were absolutely just insane.
So good. So good. So loud and thuddy at times. They were either clappy loud or like thuddy loud, like you knew that someone was practicing CPR on someone's chest. Ouch.
Oh, yeah, it was just they were just so good, man. Just so good. Nate gets dodges in the corner, gets the net, and then gets Cody in the ropes, hits that nasty German, then goes to the top, hits the flying knee off the top for 2, goes up for another flying knee. I'm like, don't do it, you're gonna miss, you're gonna screw it up, and he misses. And Cody Mac hits this huge spine buster for 2. Later in the match, Nate has some of these nasty chops in the corner, hits the pump knee, follows it up with the parachute for 2. Shout out to Chris Parrish there because that was his move forever. Mac gets this. Cody Mac hits this huge power bomb, but only gets 2. They're just going back and forth. Mac hits a Sito Death Valley driver for 2. Nate reverses the spear into this like leaping pedigree for 2. Look, just so good. They're trading, more chops are being traded. They're rolling around, trading pins. Mac gets this, in the end, out of nowhere, hits this huge spear, and he gets the win. It's just absolutely the tremendous match from both these guys. Like, Cody Mac is so good, and Nate, I think he's probably our top 2 or 3, one of the top 2 or 3 guys that's going in Alberta independent wrestling right now. After the match, they each chop each other after the match and then shake hands. It was actually pretty cool. I like that.
Yeah, it was a nice little thing, nice little touch. Yeah, those chops were monstrous. I absolutely loved that. And I was really surprised considering how much noise and thudding that it was making. These guys weren't terribly marked up after that. It really speaks to their endurance.
Well,
was that new gear?
Yeah,
go ahead.
No, it was new gear for Nate. Yes.
Freaking amazing. I freaking love that. I love the color. It was kind of like, it reminded me of like the 70s tie-dye. Kind of neon vibrancy. I loved it. It fits the character. I don't know if this is new gear for Cody Mac, but it's certainly, I like it better than the blue one that he has.
Because I think he had the black one on tonight, right? The black one with the high vis. And then he has a red set and he has a blue set. I've seen the black, the red, and the blue before. Yeah.
Yeah, the blue set looks a little aged. She's starting to fail in certain places. Whereas this guy, not in the good certain places. The black gear is very fresh. It looks newer. It looks more, we'll say, champion-esque. Yeah. He scares the shit out of me with that wrench, though. Freaking running around with that thing.
Well, after the show, he was threatening to hit Alyssa with it, wasn't he? And then she had to duck.
Oh, is that what happened?
That's why she like ducked in behind you. Like jokingly. He was joking. It was a joke. He was joking about it. It wasn't
Was that when I had to intimidate him and scare him out the building?
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Yeah, that's right.
It was
Fear
a funny
me.
little.
I'm 5'3" with 0 survival skills, but fear me.
Yeah.
I am Melball.
Fear the Melball. So I move on to semi-main event of the evening. It was the RCW North American Championship. Yes, this company has a lot of titles. Dean Richtor defending against Mitch, love of Mel's life, Mitch Clarke. Dean attacks Mitch during his entrance. Again, Mitch ends up taking the pants off Tai Chi style. Just like, yeah. They're brawling on the floor, but we can't see it because they're just brawling on the other side of the building, and we missed pretty much all of that.
It was very Oedo tie. You know, Dean threw Mitch into the chairs, and then they went to the other side, and Mitch threw Dean into the chairs. It was very much like Oedo tie, War Dogs kind of start.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mitch getting this nasty clothesline in the ring to Dean. Dean hits this rolling forearm that looked just sick. As Mel described it to me, Mitch, the kicky by Mitchy.
Two things. Usually in the second half of the show, I am not sober. Secondly, pair that with my ADHD and with my other learning issues. I forget simple things in the moments that they're happening, and I will come up with the most odd descriptions to just describe what is going on. And like that, and what he did for his finish, like I didn't know what they were called, so I just called them what I saw.
You can call the finish what you called it. I'm not going to. Mitch getting a fisherman buster suplex for 2. Guillotine. Dean gets the guillotine choke on and starts throwing knees, hits the hip toss, and hits that speeded drop kick for 2. They're slipping out of each other's finishers. Dean gets that like one arm spine buster that he does.
Oh yeah, so mean.
So good. He gets a 2 out of that. Mitch ducks the rolling elbow, hits a hard lariat. Mitch gets the triple Germans, but Dean fights back and hits a snapdragon. Dean goes to the top, but Mitch attacks and pulls him down. But Dean fights him off, attempts a KOD, but Mitch slides out, gets him on his shoulders, rolling Death Valley driver, and Mitch Clarke is your new RCW North American Champion. What did you call his finish?
Don't know what it was called. You know me and move name. Death Valley Driver. I would have never. I called it a spindly bindly. I call it a spindly bindly because I didn't know what it was. A spinny thing. I don't know what else to call it when it happened. Spindly bindly. Did I break you, Andre? I think he's dying. I'm sorry, love of my life. I don't know move names. I rely on Andre for that. He was not there. He was not present. I called it like I saw it. It was a spindly bindly.
Like, I don't even know the technical name for that move. I just call it a rolling Death Valley driver because, like,
spindly bindly.
The version I know, when you get a guy up onto your shoulders, usually you roll forward, which what Bolton Oleg does is a Green Bay plunge.
Yeah.
Where this is, he gets him on the shoulders and then just rolls sideways, which is kind of Death Valley driver-ish, but he rolls through it, landing on the guy, and then pops off. So I call it a rolling Death Valley driver. But Mitch Clarke, if you see this, please tell me what it's called, because I want to know. Because I know it's not the spindly bindly, because you are not the Matt Raywold when he was in the WWE playing an old timey character. So I know it's not called spindly bindly. And if you want it to be called the spindly bindly, tell me, because I will start calling it the spindly bindly. But I'm not going to do it as long as Mel. Just Mel. It
I
just
can
melts in your
guarantee
brain.
you he does not want it called the spindly bindly, which is why I'm going to call it. Love of my life. Double champion. Triple
Yeah.
champion. Triple
Well,
champion.
yeah, top talent champion. Now RCW North American champion. He's RCW International Tag Team champion. Yeah, he's rolling. He might be has titles in other places that I don't know about, but yeah. So we move on. Main event of the evening. It's the Bad Child. It's the Blackheart. It's Lio Rush taking on the healer, Harlon, the former RCW Canadian champion, Harlon Abbott. Harlon using his size early. He's tossing Lio around, not letting him get any offense in. There's a great spot where he stops the run off the apron, but Lio gets back in. But as he's going for the suicide dive, Harlon slides back in and just takes his head off with a lariat. X-plex by Harlon for 2. Just some crazy stuff. Harlon with his huge backbreaker over the knee and just looked like he just killed Lio with that. Lio fighting back with those like super fast like strike combinations to the face where he's like bam, 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 bam.
Yeah.
I love those.
The whole crowd in front of us reacted to that. I don't think that they knew that that was part of his moveset. So when that started happening, almost our entire section was like, whoa, wow, 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 and started mimicking him. It was really cool moment.
The spot where Harlon whips Lio so hard into the corner, he goes crashing through the turnbuckles to the floor. Looks so good. Lio slips out of the last ride and hits his bounce off the ropes into the satellite DDT. Harlon ends up on the apron, and Lio does that flip, a front flip into the like double heel kick to knock Harlon off the apron. Then he follows it up with not 1, not 2, but 3 low pace to the floor. What?
Nothing.
3.
Yeah. 3 low pace to the floor.
3 low pace.
It was awesome.
Oh my god, it was so good. Lio goes jumping back in and he gets caught. Harlon hits his beautiful last ride powerbomb for 2. Lio gets that schoolboy into the tornado kick. Then a roll up for 2. Then he ends up reversing a choke slam into a victory roll. Harlon does get the choke slam, but gets delayed on the cover, so he only gets 2. Harlon drags Lio to the top, but Lio blocks the choke slam, gets away. Harlon misses the high cross off the top. And Lio hits the Death Valley driver, but Harlon kicks out at 2.7845. Math is confusing.
It is.
Harlon reverses the rush hour, which is that springboard stunner that he has and he flips around into a tombstone, but Lio kicks out at 1 and just stands up, just fired up.
Yes.
He unloads on Harlon, but Harlon hits him with a hard lariat. Lio ends up reversing. I don't know where I can't remember what but he like caught Harlon, hit the Spanish fly, follows it up with rush hour, goes to the top, comes off the top with that final hour frog splash, and Lio Rush is your winner.
Yes. So good. So good. We ran into our friends Lisa and Mark at the show as well. It's Lisa's birthday today as we're filming this. Happy birthday, Lisa.
Happy birthday, Lisa. Lisa, it's your birthday. From The Simpsons.
Yeah. So we were chatting a little bit throughout and after the match, and we were just like, Lio is so good at everything. He pushes it to that limit, but does not pass that line. You know what I'm talking about with the oversell? He doesn't slip into that Ibushi or show level oversell where it's hokey. He always looks so good. It's so organic. It's so real. He is that person who unapologetically suspends reality every match he wrestles in. This is phenomenal. You know, I'm not the biggest fan of Harlan, but this match was so good. So
Mm-hmm.
good. Every single time we see him, better, 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 better. So good. So good. Yeah, I don't have a lot to add to this. You definitely got everything that I can remember by the end of this night. So fun. What a show. What a
Yeah,
great show.
it was so good. Like just
So good.
almost utter perfection in this match.
Mhm,
Lio
mhm.
cut a promo after saying it'd been 9 years since he'd been in Edmonton, Alberta. I can't figure out who he worked for 9 years ago. I'm looking in his cage match. It's not listed. There's no company listed. But again, there's a lot of stuff missing from a lot of people's cage matches. Trust me. If you don't register the match, it doesn't go on cage match. But yeah, and he just said it was cool to be back here and just him listing off everywhere he's been in the world. And then, he lists off a bunch of places. I go, and Japan. And he goes, yeah.
Yeah, both of us were like, "Yeah, Japan, sir."
I yelled, and Japan. And then he goes, yeah. And he's like, yep, and Japan. But yeah, dude, my voice was killing me after that show. Oh, I'm so
Mhm.
I can talk today because I was just chanting for Lio Rush throughout the
Yeah.
match. A couple times he was like pointing out towards me and you as we were chanting for him. It was
Mhm.
oh, the guy was so good.
Such fun moments and experiences.
Yeah, we get to chat with him. We get to chat with him quickly before the show during the meet and
Mhm,
greet section. But then getting to
mhm.
talk to him after the show, just getting to speak with him for a few minutes. It was just, and we're telling him it's the first time we've ever seen him live, and he's like, "Oh my!" He's like, and he's like, "Do you enjoyed him?" Like, dude, he lived. And we were saying like lived up to everything. And just how much we enjoyed
Yeah.
watching him, especially in New Japan this past couple of years. It was just absolutely phenomenal to watch Lio Rush work.
100%. I say the same thing, like, when we reviewed Speedball Mike Bailey
Mhm.
with LPW. It's one thing to see the person on the screen, whether you're watching on your laptop, your phone, your television, whatever. It's one way and experience to see it there. It's
Mm.
another completely to see it live and in such what I would consider a more intimate environment than something like AEW or WWE or even NJPW. Their NJPW shows tend to be a little larger. This was a very smaller show where you got to actually, like, even though the place was packed, you still felt connected to the people in the ring, and it was such a fun experience. What a great show. I mean, overall, even considering the tag match, it just overall, this show was so phenomenal. We gotta
And
shout out the ladies at the front door, Michelle and Dawn.
yeah,
Love those ladies.
oh
It's
yeah.
so nice to see them every show.
Yeah, and just and everybody that puts everything into it, and the Legion for being such a great partner to RCW, working together for a lot of these great shows. I know Steven and Michelle have become a part of that Legion. They work like
Mhm,
I know
mhm,
he's the president of Legion now, and Michelle is on the executive board. Like they've gotten really involved, becoming partners with these guys. Like got really involved,
mhm,
and you got to thank them so much because again they like, it's a consistent place for this company to be, and allows this company to
mhm.
keep running for 21 years, and it's been s-
Yeah.
some awesome wrestling, man. I've seen some like just some of my favorite matches I've seen at RCW over the years. I've just seen some
Mhm.
cool stuff. I've had some anger-inducing moments at RCW, both
Yeah.
personally and as a fan. Um, but just I don't know. These guys have been going for 21 years. Started in 2003. Like
Mhm,
everything's Squig done, whether good, all the bad. He's kept. He's the most consistent wrestling product outside other than MPW in Alberta in the last 25 years or 21 years.
mhm.
One of the most consistent pieces of professional wrestling. So yeah.
It's true, it's true, and even the production has gotten a lot better. Because remember at the beginning of the year, it was hit or miss. First of all, if they had the right song for the right frickin' person, but
Yep.
then also the volume tended to be very inconsistent. There wasn't any kind of special lighting. This show, you mentioned to me all the fun little colorful lights
Mhm.
around it really made it feel like more like an arena and less like a legion. I don't know how I feel about the spotlight
Oh,
I don't know
Dean.
how Dean Richtor felt about it either.
Well, they would shoot with like the red, all the different colors on people, but they gave him just the bright white spotlight, and like he just was like staring at the spotlight person, like, "Are you an idiot?" And then they shut it off, and he got over to the other side, and then they turned it back on. He was yelling at the person, so they turned it back on him, and he started yelling at them even more. It was great. Oh my god, it was great.
It was such a great heel move, though, because
Yeah.
he has really started to become. Because before he was he was a great wrestler, but he was pretty quiet. There wasn't a whole lot of character work. Now we're starting to see him work a little bit more heelish in RCW and in LPW when we've seen him there. He's been working pretty heelish. I like to see the difference in the character. It gives him something to latch on to, like as us something to latch on to as fans to dislike about him. I'm still a fan, but you know, disliking being a dick to the production people, that's a good idea. Production has gotten better though, as I mentioned. There's more consistency with the music, there's consistency with the volume. It's not deafening anymore. Before, sometimes it would come on and almost scare the shit out of you. Now it's actually at a nice volume where it's like, oh, something's happening. Okay. It's not a something's happening, kind of thing. So the show has just gone through leaps and bounds. I am always in this fight or flight situation here, right?
I want to see you
Fight.
fight. I want to see you fight.
I mean, it almost happened. I mean, I didn't know there was a weapon involved, but it almost happened.
But we're going to get out of here. Thank you all so much for
Yes.
joining us on a review of the RCW 21st anniversary show in Edmonton, Alberta. You can find me on X at That Canada Guy, TikTok, Instagram, and Threads at That Canada. You can find me on Facebook at Andre M. Melball Wrestling Talk. You can also find all of our Japanese wrestling content over on SundaysMainEvent.com in audio form. So go over there, hit that RSS feeds, copy it, put it into your podcast player of choice, and like the audio from our shows, all the other stuff, like it all. If we'd really appreciate, give us a good review, good 5-star review if you can on your podcast catcher of choice. Also, if you want to support them, go to patreon.com/SNME radio. For only $4 American per month, you can support some really great professional wrestling content. Want to give a big shout out to our friends over at our local establishment. You can check me out Wednesday, March 29th, or May 29th. Sorry, not March, May 29th. I'll be back with my boy, Oled, my alternate tag team partner, doing our Marvel Talk MCU Rebound show, where we're going to be talking Thor the Dark World. So that's going to be coming. So check us out over at twitch.tv/our local establishment and youtube.com/@our local establishment. Want to give one more big old shout out to our boy Mike the Ref over at Backbreaker Radio for simulcasting all our stuff over there. Thank you so much. If you want to, and he has his AEW watch alongs on there. And if you want to see those live, go to twitch.tv/Mike the Ref. You can watch them every Wednesday and every Saturday, along with every pay-per-view Sunday, which is this upcoming Sunday is Double or Nothing. So check him out. You can hang out with him, watch all the AEW. And if you want to hang out the rest of the days of the week, you can hang out with him while he plays games and all the different video games. He does sports, adventure, probably has some kind of shooting game in there. I don't know. But all the different games that he plays. Check him out over there. And if you want to see replays of all his gaming content, go to youtube.com/@Backbreaker_gaming, where you can find him, Mr. PJC, the man we were talking about tonight, Mr. Rick Jules, and their frequent guest, Kayla J.
Kayla J. Kayla J. Kayla J. Kayla J. We love Kayla J here.
Yes, we do.
Yes, we do.
Melball, where can they find you?
If you're wanting to follow a Melball, you can follow her on the X thing at Collins Melball. You can follow her on everything else, Facebook, Instagram, TikTok, Mastodon, and Blue Sky at Melball Collins. You can also find her on our local establishments programming, Japanese Wrestling Update with this guy on Fridays at 8 p.m. Mountain Time. Unless it's not. And then we will let you know. It's usually a live show for us, but if we have other plans like RCW, LPW, Top Talent, and the like, we will be pre-recording those episodes. So stay tuned to our socials to hear when those are coming up. You can also find your girl on Extra Bizarro's YouTube channel where we do our show, Ladies Wrestling Showcase. We have an episode coming out very soon. We got a couple guests lined up for the next couple episodes. So stay tuned to our socials when we are coming out with that. If you're wanting to attend an RCW show, you can go to their Facebook page, Real Canadian Wrestling, where there is a link to their Eventbrite where you can purchase tickets, or you can get in touch with some of the wrestlers, see what they can do for you about getting tickets in advance from them. Helps out you, helps out the wrestlers. Everybody's happy. All right. My trusted friend and colleague, do you have anything else to say to the beautiful people?
I just want to thank y'all for being such beautiful people, and don't forget to hit that notification bell. Or not that one. Like the video, subscribe to the channel, comment down below because we love hearing from you guys. Don't forget to share us out to all your friends, family, and all the bad children out there, and all those little kids that are just wonderful stars. And don't forget to hit that notification bell so you can be alerted every time we drop a new video.
Ding dong.
Hello.
Hello. And that being said, I am your Melball. Over there is Andre. We will see you next time.